Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the EAP Counsellor podcast. My apologies to you all. It has been a little while since my last podcast episode. Apologies for that. But guess what? I have got the most amazing guest today. So I'm sure that will make up for taking some time out from recording. I obviously want to welcome you all back to the podcast, and I'm feeling very excited today by the guest who is joining me. So today I'm joined by someone who truly understands what it takes to thrive at work, not just perform, but feel well while doing it. My guest is Sally Phelan, founder of Lightworks Coaching. Isn't that the most amazing name? I love your business name, Sally.
Thank you.
Sally, Sally brings more than 25 years of experience as a senior executive in global fashion retail, where she led high-performing teams in fast-paced, high-pressure environments. I'm sure those words, listeners, are absolutely going to get you in and really wanting to listen to what Sally has to say and has to share with us today. Today, she combines that real world leadership expertise with coaching, neurodiversity support, and evidence based mindset practices that help individuals and organizations create meaningful, lasting change. In this conversation today, we're exploring what a proactive, preventative approach to workplace wellbeing looks like in practice, and how initiatives like the Team Approach's EAP program, which Sally is part of, can help support people to stay well, stay connected, and perform at their best. Sally, it's such a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your calendar and diary to be with us.
Thank you, Lou. It's a pleasure to be here. Catch up with you as always.
Thank you. And I always feel very honoured with the people who say yes to coming on the podcast, because everyone who I talk to has some real gold nuggets of wisdom to share. And those gold nuggets come from years of experience, as well as, just being out there, doing it and learning along the way, diversifying. And I guess, everyone has a quality about them in regards to wanting to give back, which is what I really love. And, this is what our conversation today is all about, alongside Sally and I doing some work together, which I absolutely love. And I know that you're going to really be able to provide some really great insights today, Sally. So thank you so much. If we can start off with talking about, you spent over 25 years leading in a high pressure global retail organization, which is huge. It's a long time, it's lots of experience. And to sit in that place, in that organization of high pressure and retail as well for that amount of time, I'm really curious about what did that world teach you about what really helps people perform well at work, and what quietly potentially burns them out.
Yeah, for sure. So it was such an exciting career,
Mm,
and fashion retail is always changing and evolving.
mm,
There's lots of blood, sweat, and tears. It's certainly not always as glamorous as that sounds.
yeah.
When I did get to travel, but it was hard work, but
Mm.
I absolutely loved it. But when I first started out last century, it was all about the optics. So spending long hours in the office, even if I had nothing left to do, I'd just be reading a magazine till the boss left. And it was about how you dressed, who you sucked up to, and that created a lot of extra pressure
Mm.
because on top of getting the results, there was all the politics, and that could be really exhausting. And especially as an back then undiagnosed AU ADHD person, it often went right over my head. So I was always in someone's bad books. Um, but the biggest thing that whole career taught me was that clarity is key.
Mm,
Having a vision that you can articulate so everyone's heading in the same direction,
mm,
and it makes it easy for everyone. And having that North Star to anchor you to the purpose of what you're doing, it really makes all the decisions easier and helps you know what to say no to as well. Just having that compass setting.
yeah,
Um, you don't have to debate every turn if you know you're heading north, right? Helps you weed out distractions and getting results quicker, which is motivating for everyone. So, that motivates everyone's performance. But the other thing, and I'm going to talk about this a lot, it's regular check-ins.
yeah.
So, opportunities to provide feedback and course correct when you need it.
Mm,
That really builds trust and creates momentum.
mm,
And it's not micromanaging, obviously, which erodes both of those things. And that can ultimately lead to dissatisfaction and burnout. And we've probably all experienced that at some stage. And basic, uh, um, a simple, quick, well done always
yes,
goes a long way.
it
And
does,
that was
doesn't it?
great. Yeah, so you can still stop and do all of those things in a busy environment. So that was probably my biggest thing.
I love that, and I love your compass analogy there. And yeah, like just heading in a communal, collaborative
Mm.
direction, and having check-ins along the way as well. And that allows us to redirect when we need to. And it's I guess, a simple analogy that is easy for people to understand, which I really love. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah, it's amazing. I As you know, I mean, you know me, Sally, in regards to I get curious and love to find out, why people do what they do, why they don't do what they don't do, and what makes people make changes along the way. And I'm wondering, and I'm sure our listeners would love to know as well, what was the turning point for you that moved you from senior executive leadership or a senior executive leader into coaching and transformation work? Because that's a big decision to make.
It was. And I had reached a point where I was burned out and exhausted. And I think in hindsight, it'd probably been building up for a long time, but
Yeah.
it felt at the time like I just woke up one day and thought, I don't want to do it this way anymore.
Mm,
And, I did love that career, as I mentioned, but I was tired. And I
yeah.
also had a lot going on personally. So both my parents had died within 2 years.
Mm,
A long-term relationship had ended. And we had COVID, of course. And then I
yeah.
received my ADHD diagnosis. So
Yeah.
I was doing a huge reevaluation of my entire life.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'd been at this amazing company for 14 years and
Mm,
others before that. So I decided then I had a lot of leave owing. So I
yeah.
applied for 3 months long service leave so I could just really have the headspace to figure things out.
Yeah.
And that really allowed me to dig into what my values were because I didn't even really know.
Mm. Isn't it
And
amazing what we don't know until we actually start doing this work or
yeah,
enter a stage of transformation? And we all of a sudden think, oh my goodness me, like,
like, who am I? What do I believe in? I've
yeah,
just
and I
been going,
really need to know my values because they are my signposts. Sorry for interrupting you, but
no.
it's fascinating, the journey that we go on.
Yeah, and I tell all my clients that as well, like, what are your values? And more often than not, they're like, I don't really know. So let's
Yeah.
figure it out. Um, but yeah, and that led me to thinking about, well, what mark do I want to leave on the world,
Mm,
as well as what else do I want to learn about myself?
mm,
So after speaking to a friend who's been in a leadership and L&D, a trusted friend for his whole life, I embarked on a coaching qualification and absolutely loved it.
yeah.
So I knew at the end of that long service leave, I rang my boss and I told her I wanted to step down from my role when I got back.
Hmm.
And she was surprised. She was like,
Mm,
"What do you mean? You're like, yes, at the top of your game." And it's like, perfect time to do it. So it was really satisfying. And
yeah.
but I loved that career. But I loved what I'd uncovered was I loved seeing people succeed. And I loved watching people develop, and I knew that that's what I wanted to be able to continue
Mm,
helping them to do. And um, yeah, to work with people in that respect. And
Mm.
so happily, they asked me if I'd like to pivot into a contract role in their people
Oh,
team.
yeah,
'Cause they,
great.
I know, so lucky. And I could do that part time. So I was able to continue my study, get the business up and running, and then
Amazing.
just maintain a more balanced life. So,
That's a lot. Oh, I love that. It sounds like you really found your calling
mm,
um, quickly, I guess, through taking the time out to allow some space for that to come in.
yeah.
But you realize really quickly what it was that you really loved.
Well, yeah, and it was just asking those questions, and I ended up actually doing Ikigai, if you've
Oh, I love
heard of
that.
that, which is
Yeah.
that Japanese sort of um, process for finding what your purpose in life
Mm.
was. And it was, what are you good at? What do you love? What does the world need? And what can you get paid for? So that actually gave me that answer really quickly. So yeah, it all sort of
Amazing.
fell into place, I think. So
Yeah. Um, and, for listeners out there, look up Ikigai. It's a fantastic, whether we call it strategy, framework,
mm,
activity
yeah,
to help. Yeah, definitely look that up because yeah, it like I've done those activities as well, and definitely have brought Ikigai into some of my client sessions, which I'm sure you will have as well. It really helps to bring purpose in and just direction and everything like that.
yeah, and you can
Um,
buy little workbooks. I think I just got the little book of Ikigai, and it had all the questions like, what does
yeah.
your ideal day look like? And I'm actually living that ideal day every day. So it's wonderful.
How good is that?
Yeah.
And that's what we sort of aspire to, don't we? And strive for. And, sadly, there's a lot of people that don't. And not because they don't want to, it's potentially because they don't know how to or which way to go. And it's so refreshing and lovely to hear someone say, I'm living it. This is it.
Yeah.
You've done the hard yards, to get there as well. We know we don't just wake up, click our fingers, and there we are. Yeah, so well done you. That's so lovely to hear. So lovely. If it's okay for me to talk about preventative well-being and the workplace as well. So
Yeah.
a lot of workplace support kicks in when people are already struggling.
Mm.
And I guess I struggle with that, to think that in some workplaces it's not proactive, it's reactive, as opposed to being preventative and proactive. So if it's okay for me to ask you,
Oh.
what does in your mind, what does a proactive preventative approach to well-being look like day to day inside organizations?
Mm, you're so right. And in so many cases, it takes somebody actually having that breakdown
Yeah.
before anyone realizes something is wrong. And,
Yes.
women in general, but in particular, neurodivergent women are great at internalizing or masking the struggle because we don't want to look like we're incapable,
Mm,
right? So sometimes it can go unnoticed, or sometimes it looks like underperformance instead of
mm.
a preventable well-being issue. So, again, I cannot understate the power of regular check-ins with
Yeah.
team members. It can be structured, but
Mm,
open and a two-way conversation. And it shouldn't just cover the operational matters, but focus on the person.
yeah.
And this is something I put into practice with my team in, my whole career.
Mm,
And I can see like just treating that people like a whole person, how are they doing? What do they need? What are their pain points?
mm.
Celebrating their wins. Like,
Yeah.
and giving and receiving constructive feedback. So I would always say, like, what can I do better? Um, but also it's around removing friction in the work and the processes.
Mm,
So people can actually do what they need to do and what they're being paid to do with autonomy. So um, let's make it easy for people, right? And I think a
absolutely.
lot of cases, like poor systems and slow systems or whatever it is, like can make it so hard.
Mm,
But the other thing I think is emotional intelligence training should be mandatory for all
yes.
people leaders and managers.
Yes. For everyone.
everyone actually,
Yeah.
everyone who deals with other people in
Mm,
any way, shape, or form. So, because it equips you to take the temperature of individuals or company
mm,
culture and address those concerns before they hit crisis point. So I think, understanding a little bit about that and listening.
mm.
But I want to say, well-being, it's certainly not about forced fun and performative wellness activities like, hey,
No.
pizza.
Yeah, or
Um,
the fruit bowl on
yeah,
the, morning tea
yeah,
desk, or yeah.
that's nice and it's a great thing, but it's no substitute because it doesn't address the root cause of poor well-being.
Yeah.
Like, is it workload or is it poor leadership?
Mm,
So it's
so
not
true.
hard to actually be preventative and take that approach.
It's not. And as you say, it's the simple things, the little things, but those things are so profound.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. And I agree with you. Simple check-ins are amazing. And everything that you've just said, I think, we don't want to take a tokenistic approach at all. And, even if we pick up the word listening, listening to hear,
yeah,
really hear. It's not that we have to respond, to everything. We need to hear, because we hear and we learn so much when we do.
yeah, absolutely.
Love that.
Yeah,
I also love that a lot of work that you do currently, and I know some passion pieces for you sort of, in the pipeline going forward, is around supporting neurodivergent professionals. You have lived experience, personal experience yourself, as well as, wanting to be able to support other fellow neurodivergent professionals. Um, there's often misconceptions out there in workplaces, in community, in society. I'm wondering, like, what you think could be or might be one misconception that workplaces still have
yeah.
um, around neurodivergence or just divergency, and what might be one simple adjustment that creates immediate impact.
Yeah, sure. So, look, current statistics show that up to 1 in 5 people are neurodivergent.
Mm,
So they're already in your workplace,
yep.
whether you know it or not. So that's one
Yes.
thing. And one of the biggest challenges I see, it's a lack of awareness of what neurodiversity actually is and how it can show up in its various forms. And there seems to be a bit of fear around that. So even well-intentioned, like, oh, what if I say the wrong thing or I'm politically incorrect or
Mm,
I don't understand it? Um, or that it's going to be too disruptive to make any adjustments, or even that it's special treatment and why should
mm,
one person get special treatment? And so that would make it unfair. But that's not the unfair part. The unfair part is the misconception that there's only one way to succeed
mm,
at work, the neurotypical way. And that creates a lot of stigma and shame for neurodivergent folks. And like, I experienced that myself even before I knew what was going on with, got my diagnosis.
mm.
Like, I just couldn't do it the way I felt like I didn't get the memo. Couldn't do it
Yep.
the way everyone else was doing it, but I was
Yeah.
still successful. But, it was at a cost often.
Yes.
I think the simple adjustment is to encourage people to pause before judging somebody's behavior.
Hmm.
So, neurodivergent staff often work harder behind the scenes to meet those typical expectations, and they don't even have to disclose any diagnosis if they
No.
don't want to. But you could ask anyone on your team, what helps you succeed?
Yes.
And they might say, I'd like, 10, half an hour between meetings or a quiet space or to work from home 1 day a week or whatever it is. And
Mm,
everybody has that right to succeed the way they want to succeed. But don't judge those behaviours. And just a lot of neurodivergent conditions are invisible. So they make
yes.
people might seem fine, but they're silently struggling,
Mm,
with overload, sensory fatigue, memory gaps.
mm,
Um, and so just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not real. And, it might show up like lateness or time blindness, being abrupt, like in meetings, and that's just a social processing difference or
Mm,
appearing to zone out or shut down due to overwhelm. So look, and that adds pressure and that makes
mm.
things worse. So the takeaway here, I think, is assume good intent from everyone and
Yes,
offer support before jumping to any conclusions, even if they haven't disclosed anything, because neurodivergent people bring huge value to teams. So,
absolutely.
and diverse thinking across any team, whether it's
Yeah.
neurodivergent or not, like that's creativity, it's problem solving, it's innovation,
Mm,
original perspectives.
yeah,
And they're all assets, especially in a,
totally.
yeah.
Absolutely. They really are. And um, yes, I think having that awareness is key. Again, the power of a check-in
Mhm.
too. And as well, like, what comes up for me is education and training.
Yeah.
Um, just as important as emotional intelligence knowledge and understanding is, so is information and knowledge around neurodiversity. And because we all benefit from knowing more, understanding more, learning more.
Yeah, exactly. And if I might just have a quick plug, I do run a 1 hour workshop for businesses to talk about this, and it just demystifies some of it, gives the right language, and they can build some simple, easy strategies and actually just go, oh, it's not that hard after all. And we can
Yeah,
have some advantages here. So, yeah, it is not a big deal to actually be celebrate diversity in your
I
work.
love that.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely your forum, and you are invited to plug anything. It's important that workplaces know what is out there, what's available to them, and who to go to ask questions and learn. So, people listening, Sally is your person. She provides a lot of support in all different ways. I would absolutely recommend you getting in touch with her. You're also a very passionate supporter of women in midlife,
Yeah.
um, as am I. A lot of my clients, not all, but a lot are women in midlife. And I guess, am I allowed to say I fit into that
Yeah.
category? So many of us do.
Yeah.
Um, but you're also a very passionate supporter. Um, what strengths? Because often people may look at whether it's negatives or restraints around whether it be menopause or eh, midlife things. Um, what strengths do you see emerge at this stage that workplaces may or often overlook?
Yeah, sure, you're right. And I am so passionate about this because I think when you get there yourself, you're like, oh, I'm amazing actually, and
Yeah.
you should take advantage of that. But not only do we have a wealth of life experience, professional experience, but I think we also have, if can I swear a little bit, a
You can,
finely tuned
you,
bullshit detector.
yeah. Oh, you can absolutely say that. People will be nodding in the listening away now.
Yeah, so we can see through just about
Mm,
anything inauthentic, and I think what this experience and this stage of life brings is the ability to get to the heart of issues quickly,
mm,
and you don't have to perform, and um, it's that lifetime of experience allows for efficiency and getting stuff
yeah.
done, and particularly if you've been a mother and you've raised kids, you're like you have to be efficient, right? So. Um, I always used to say when I was hiring someone, hire a mum because if a mum can't do it, nobody can,
Mhm.
or they can do it better than anyone else because they know how to do it, get it all done.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a deep wisdom that comes with being in midlife that is an asset for any business. And sadly, you see it still. Many workplaces just think women in midlife maybe are irrelevant or they're behind the
Mm,
times. But
mm.
we're smart. We've adopted all the new technology
Yes.
to learn. And, Gen X, we've always been fearless and we've always just gone out there and done it, right? So
Mm.
I think just, yeah, there's so much experience and strength out there that can really work well for business. Yeah.
I'm feeling empowered just listening to
Oh, good.
you. I'm feeling fearless
Yeah.
right now. And,
Exactly.
to link into your journey too, around transformation. And, I've been, I guess, on a similar journey. It really is quite amazing what happens in that midlife, in regards to empowerment, decision making, choice, all of the things. I think, we are fearless, and it it's exciting.
Yeah, nothing to prove anymore. That's the sense I
Yeah.
get. And the only person I want to prove things to is myself.
Yes.
And, I think I've been privileged to actually have, had a great career and I was financially independent. And, that's not possible for everyone, but I think you still have all of those smarts to work
Yep.
with and you can see through the bullshit.
Yeah, love it. And you're right, we have bullshit radars
Yeah.
as humans, like
Yeah.
humans do. And I think we definitely get better at all of that as we move along, in age and stage. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing.
Okay.
You, you're a clever lady. You blend, say, executive functioning coaching,
Yeah.
NLP, hypnosis, and practices like yoga nidra.
Hmm.
Um, and I love that you've got such an amazing toolkit, on offer for clients. How do you decide which approach someone needs?
Okay. So, look, the core competencies of coaching include embodying a mindset that's open, curious, non-judgmental, and absolutely client-centered.
Yeah.
So this means you've got to be an active listener, like we were saying
Yeah.
before, as well as, if even on screen or if you're face to face, observing the client's physicality and getting into rapport with them and meeting them where they are. So while I use an overarching strategic framework and all of those modalities as needed, it's always tailored to the individual and what they want to achieve. So for me, it's about asking those right questions. And I can usually pretty much quickly gauge how willing a client is to try something new or
Mm.
different.
Yeah.
Bit woo-woo maybe for them, and they
Yeah.
never say no.
Yeah.
But I always ask for their permission first as well. So if, for example, I think hypnosis or yoga nidra, which is a deeply restorative guided meditation practice, I ask them if I think it would be of benefit for them. Um, because so many of my clients do come to me feeling a bit overwhelmed for
Mm.
various reasons. So, as you know very well, Lou, a focus on nervous system regulation is usually welcomed and it's a bit of a relief for people. And that works beautifully with the coaching work because it gives clients space to really examine what's going on for them.
Mm. I love that.
Yeah, and look, NLP and some of those other things, again, it's just in the toolkit, but at its very core, it's about um, helping a client to recognize their habitual patterns of
Yeah.
thinking and maybe build some flexibility around that. And all of my coaching sessions, whoever they're with, include some kind of visualization, breath work, or relaxation techniques, regardless, because we know the mind body are connected. And
Yes.
um, sometimes it's as simple as just naming a feeling where it's sitting in the body, and that's a fast track to clarity for most people. So, yeah, just listening, looking, and asking questions is how I know.
Being curious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
curious.
Love it.
Mm,
Um, as you know, I love, strategies and, practical, whether it be solutions or practical activities, and increasing, a client and or an organization's toolkit themselves. So if a listener had, say, 90 seconds between meetings, or just had 90 seconds, a very short, space of time, what's one reset, if we can call it a reset,
yeah.
that may or may not be the right word, but what's one thing that you could recommend to help to, whether it be restore their focus or their energy, or at least, you know, allow their body and mind to know, okay, that has finished and now I'm about to do, the next thing.
Yeah, that's an easy question for me because it's always breath work.
Yeah.
or some kind of breathing. You can do it anywhere,
Yeah.
and it's proven way to shift from that fight or flight state to a calmer and more alert one. I have one in particular that's my favorite, and I use it every day, I would say, even
Mm,
at night in bed. It's
great.
called the physiological sigh.
Hmm.
And it's two quick inhales through the nose, followed
Hmm.
by a long, slow exhale through the mouth. So,
Oh, wow.
and you
Amazing.
repeat that up, they say around 20 to 25 times, and you'll
Hmm.
absolutely feel clearer and calmer straight away. And if you can find a quiet place to sit, you can go to the toilet.
Yeah. That's what I say to clients a lot. Go to the toilet. At least you've got your own cubicle and you can take 90 seconds in there or longer.
And just close your eyes for a second because this absolutely will help. And have a big glass of water. That
Yeah.
always helps too.
How often do you, just to remind our listeners, how often do you do the sigh breath?
I do it mainly, actually. I've been doing it at nighttime
Yeah.
if my brain's a bit buzzy, or if I wake up in the night, I do it, and I never get to 25 times because it just calms the mind down so quickly.
Hmm.
Or in between tasks, sometimes I'll just do it as a transition. So
Okay.
I do it every day.
Yeah, great. I
And it's
love
so
that.
easy.
And it's pretty simple. I guess the hardest thing, like anything, is remembering to do it.
Yeah, but like the physiological sigh, you can Google it, but it's literally
I love that.
so it's easy.
Oh, another strategy for everyone listening. Um, and I do similar type,
Yeah.
a sigh breath and things, but I haven't heard of that one, and I'm absolutely going to do it.
Mm.
So thank you. I also love picking up strategies along the way that are helpful. Thanks, Sally.
No worries.
Um, I'm all about collaborating, about partnerships, and all about trying to have or trying to make the biggest difference possible and make the biggest impact for as many people as possible. And I'm curious to know, Sally, from your perspective, how do programs like the Team Approach EAP, because I said earlier, Sally is part of um, the Team Approach EAP program, delivering services to organisations through their EAP programs. So, how do you see programs like our EAP helping organisations move from reactive support, which traditionally has been how EAP is seen as being reactional, to moving them to a culture of, say, sustained well-being and preventative well-being as well?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I worked somewhere years ago. They had this thing called the pink phone. If you're in crisis, you picked up this phone. But I know, obviously, through the clients I work with through the team approach now, that there's a lot of different reasons, and people are looking for self-development or professional development or help with something. And I think that one of the big benefits is having a confidential and impartial person to talk to at work.
Mm,
Can give your employees a fresh perspective on any challenges they might be facing, and it's someone they can be completely open with that maybe they feel they can't do with an HR partner or a manager or a colleague. And it's just such a great outlet.
mm,
Um, and for employees to have free, in most cases, access to a dedicated team of qualified practitioners is something that just adds so much value to an organization. And I know, with the width of practitioners and experts that you've got on your program already, like you can get anything, financial, fitness, sleep, whatever it is. And
mm.
so um, it's so much value in terms of supporting their people, and it, again, prevents those issues before they arise. And then obviously there's tax benefits, right? So it's a great asset that doesn't come
Yeah,
at a huge hit to the bottom line. So it's win-win.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And if I can just highlight to our listeners, Sally's part of the EAP program, like we're so lucky to have you, Sally, on the team because Sally brings ADHD coaching, sleep coaching, leadership coaching, life coaching, and just has extensive experience as well as lived experience and all the qualifications required. So the work that you have been doing, is life-changing for people as well. And I love it because I want our EAP to be not only dynamic, but to cover as many different areas of wellbeing as possible.
Yeah.
And, having you deliver the services that you do is absolutely helping me create what I think is really important for organisations to be able to participate in and have access to as well. And really holding, having a holistic program, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I think those organizations that do have it, like shout about it because it's a great benefit for your team and it's great for engagement. Like,
Mm.
what an incredible benefit.
And again, if we can just reiterate, it is 100% confidential.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
working with people or someone who is not part of your organization, is not an employee of your organization. It's someone separate. And the confidentiality and the support is, I think, so important for people to be able to have access and an outlet as well.
Yeah.
And, that is all about prevention and being proactive and solution focused. It, the businesses, the organizations benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've just loved, meeting all the different people and talking about different things. And yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. Um, Before we finish off, this is your time to, well, you're already shining, but this is your time to tell all of our listeners what you have on offer, whether you have any events coming up
Mhm.
or programs or anything that you would like to draw attention to. I would love you right now to share with us what you have on offer, because I can 100% recommend Sally to everyone and anyone. So tell us about what you have on offer.
Thank you. Well, obviously, I do one-on-one coaching and different, hypnosis and some of those things. But I'm really excited because I'm just on the verge of launching my first ever
Mm,
group coaching program for
yeah.
ADHD women. I will can't share too much about it now,
Mhm.
but I'll be starting to talk about that and kicking that off soon. So it's been 6 months in the making. I've interviewed dozens and dozens of late diagnosed ADHD women
Wow.
to get that content. And
Yeah.
yeah, so if people want to sign up, we can put the link in the episode notes, I guess.
Yeah.
But just it's lightworkscoaching.com.au and you can sign up to be on the mailing list to
Amazing.
get that when it comes up. Um, and then, as I mentioned before, like working with businesses on neurodiversity in the workplace and the power of that. And I'm
Mm.
so passionate because, had I struggled with it and in my own career, and I know other people have as well. And happily it's starting to become more recognized and
Mm.
outside of just like DEI initiatives, but it's very simple. And so offering that workshop to businesses as well, in person, obviously in the local area or online as well. It's 1 hour and it's for teams
Amazing.
and or leadership. So yeah, it's a fantastic one. And yeah, all my I've got some sleep courses and things on the website as well, and lots of
Great.
free things to download. So, I do have a few different pillars, but it's that intersection of leadership, neurodiversity, and human performance that really is where my
Amazing.
work sits.
I
So,
love that.
yeah.
And let's also mention and plug our International Women's Day event, breakfast event next Tuesday, the 10th.
That's
Hopefully, I'm right saying the 10th of March in Barwon Heads. 7:30 to 9:30. We're very excited about this event. This is Sally's idea and creation that has come to form, and we're really, really excited about it. The theme being Give to Gain. And that is a theme that we're both very passionate about, as are, I'm sure, all of the people who are coming along. We learn from each other, and it's really important for women to be lifting each other up as well, sharing their stories, empowering one another. So we're very excited about that, and tickets can be bought by going to our socials, social media and websites. So please, if you are a local to the Geelong and Bellarine area, we would love for you to come along.
Yeah.
And before we say goodbye, Sally, where and how can people find you? Tell us, where you are, where we can find you. Again, feel free to mention your website address, but also, let us know where people can find you.
It's I'm on LinkedIn just under Sally Phelan under my name, and then also under Lightworks Coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And on Instagram, it's Lightworks_coaching.
Yeah.
And probably mainly, LinkedIn and Instagram, I would say, are my
Amazing.
main, or the website, which is lightworkscoaching.com.au.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
people, please go and find Sally, give her a like and connect. You can also learn about Sally on the Team Approach website. She is part of the EAP team, and we have a beautiful photo and your a bio there too. So please, feel free to go there. Sally, thank you so much for giving your time today to chat to us. It's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege, and I'm just so happy that you said yes to being part of EAP, and I love the work that you do, and I feel very honoured to be working alongside you. So thank you, and I really appreciate everything that you've shared with us today.
Thank you. It's my absolute pleasure. Thanks for
Oh,
having me.
thank you.
Mm.
Look forward to catching up again soon.